What's going on, everybody? We are live. Thank you for coming back to another live stream. As you can see in the title and the thumbnail, I have some guests here in the video. But I just wanted to start this off by thanking all of you guys for watching, whether you're watching this live, which it doesn't look like there's anybody right now, or you're watching this after the fact. We're just going to be talking full spoilers for Godzilla versus Kong. Definitely excited to get into this. I have already done my review for it, but now it's time to talk about the specifics and just kind of geek out. So let's start off by introducing my first guest here. He's been on the channel a million times. Super funny guy. Half of his camera is not working at the time, but he filled it out with a Godzilla versus Kong banner, which worked out pretty well. So let's welcome our first guest, Q Reviews. How's it going, my friend?
What up, man? Chilling. You can see the half of my head, though, but I think it works. You know what I'm saying? You can still see me. I got the camera further enough. See me. I don't know. Something's weird with Streamlab. I don't know what it is. How's it going, man? Glad to sit here. Talk some Godzilla, Kong, spoiler. We gonna get into it.
I'm super excited for this, bro. Yeah, for sure. There's a lot to talk about. And I know somebody who's going to have plenty to say is probably the guy who, if I really think about it, has been on my channel more than anybody else. We just posted a new video today with Finding Nemo with this guy, and that is my buddy Rashad G Reviews. What's going on, man?
What's that? Did I just give a thumbs up? All right. I just gave a thumbs up. I'm so dorky. What's good, Ed? Yeah, happy to be here. Happy to talk about Godzilla versus Kong. Yeah, I'm gonna save my disappointment for the rest of the review here, but let's get into it.
All right, and my final guest for now, we may have Trav Tries pop in here later on, so the thumbnail and the title may change. If you're watching this after the fact and Trav is already on the thumbnail, then you guys can expect to see him in the video at some point. But for now, the final guest is my buddy Mike, the Z Review, who you guys can catch on an upcoming review for the movie Luck of the Irish. I made him watch a Disney Channel original movie from my childhood that he had never seen, and that video will be coming out later this week. So what's going on, Mike? Thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, hey man. Yeah, thanks for having me. Nice to see Rashad again in the live stream and Q for the first time. I know briefly in the last one. But yeah, man, thanks for having me. Looking forward to talking about the movie.
Awesome, for sure. So let's just get right into this, all right? Let's go ahead and just start off. Before we break into the specifics, let's just go one at a time and just kind of give our general thoughts on the movie. I'll start off by just saying I had a lot of fun. All the action, the Godzilla versus Kong part of the movie, I feel like they really did a good job of delivering on that. But the human narrative around it, like a lot of these movies, just was lackluster. And I think for me, I'm at a point with these movies where I would just love to see them bring a more meaningful or exciting story on the human side into one of these movies. It's not what it's about, but it's just like we know they're capable of doing it. We know that it's possible, and at least that's just how I feel. But we're going to get deeper into that. But let's go on over to Q Reviews. What is your thoughts on this movie after having seen it?
Godzilla! I told you! I told you you're going to beat that ass, son. Is a motherfucking lizard that breathes nuclear fire. King Kong ain't had shit on Godzilla, son. I told you. It's like, well, overall, yeah, the human narrative could have used a little work. And I don't give a shit about that, son. I want to see these two Clash of the Titans go down. I want to see that CG work, which was clean as shit, by the way, and they demolished buildings. All I want to see is that down there, Godzilla versus King Kong. I mean, Peter Jackson got that great, lovely story narrative with Naomi Watts, so you can fall in love with the ape. I don't give a shit. I wanted to see him fight. I'm sorry. I love the shit. I got it at 4 out of 5, man. Let's go.
All right, that's very passionate thoughts right out of the gate, and I saw somebody had definitely a face immediately as soon as you started saying Godzilla. And Rashad, what are you thinking about this movie and Godzilla whooping all that ass?
Oh, so you caught that, huh? All right, look, I gotta call spade a spade. You know, Godzilla got the victory, but I gotta say, all right, I'm gonna get into that later. The movie as a whole sucked. All right. You know, if you take away Godzilla versus Kong, the movie itself is like a D-, like some Sci-Fi Channel shit. But you put the fights in there, it elevates it to a B. That's the grade that I gave it. But kind of what I expected. Look, I knew in the back of my mind Kong wasn't gonna win this shit, but the fact that they had to give Godzilla more advantages than he already have, like how the fuck does arms go through a growth spurt? You know, how did he get super strong where he can throw somebody with his fucking mouth? You know, that they just cheat coded Godzilla, made him more powerful just to fight Kong. I'm just saying, man. That's some bullshit.
Saying, man. Yeah, King Kong can't swim. You can't swim with you know what I'm saying? Can't swim with the lizards.
He can. Even on land. Let me tell you, some Kong whooped that ass. But then, you know, I guess the whoever owns Godzilla said, well, we have what? He whooped that ass the second fight. Kong whooped his ass. Kong whooped the second fight. Kong whooped the shit out of him. When he caught him with that axe, Godzilla. Ugh. But then whoever owns Godzilla said, well, you know what? If you want to make more Godzilla movies, talking to Warner Brothers, if you want to make more Godzilla movies, he got to win. So they had to resurrect him, and that's what happened. Some bullshit. Kong won that second fight.
Yeah, all right. I give him that second round.
Yeah, all right. Second round. Before he started putting panther claws in his chest, you know.
Yeah.
He won that.
The claws are serious. That stuff on that chest. We get into it though.
Yeah. That was definitely. I like that whole action sequence. I think was probably one of my favorite ones in the movie, or at least for when it comes to like the specific moments of the actions. But before we get into all of those specifics, get into the story, all of that insanity. Mike, let's go ahead and hear your general thoughts on Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah, well, if you're all like me, I hope. And I'm glad that the movie didn't end by someone shouting Martha, at least.
Almost.
I was expecting it. I don't know why, but yeah, overall, not too bad. I mean, definitely out of the three, it was an improvement over Godzilla King of the Monsters. The human element, anyway. To be fair, the only human I cared about in the movie was the little girl. Besides that, I didn't really give a shit. But yeah, I mean the battles though, like kind of Cupid and Rashad, like the battles were insane. But that's what you kind of come to this movie for, and I think in terms of like servicing the fans, I guess they kind of did that in a decent way, I'd say.
Yeah, for sure. I genuinely really loved all the action, but yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's similar to what you guys were all saying. Q doesn't give a damn. He doesn't care if the humans were good or not. And I feel that for sure.
Alien versus Predator. Who you here to see? The humans. Alien versus Predator, but there's people in it too. Like you don't give a shit about the fucking people. We want to see the alien fight the Predator. Jason versus Freddy. Who gives a damn about what going on with the Elm Street children with Kelly Rowland? No one cares in these versus movies. You know what I'm saying? It's about these two Frankensteins. You know, I mean these two franchises going up against each other. It's been like that throughout history, like Albert Costello versus the Wolfman or whatever. You know what I'm saying? They always play those way to the back. And I mean, at least I knew kind of what it was. But I get what you're saying. Maybe they could have had a stronger human narrative, like Jurassic Park, I think does. You know what I'm saying? With, you know, monsters and things like that. I think they have a strong human narrative, you know. Well, I should say very well written characters inside their monster movie, but that's Steven Spielberg we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I got to interrupt you on that one. AVP, yeah, Salan Lathan. Come on, man.
Yeah, she was fine. She was good.
I went to see Salan Lathan too, man. That's Bay. All right, I'm just saying.
She is fine though.
I drink her bath water.
That's like I have to argue that that's like a better movie. Like, you know what I mean? Like, AVP isn't like an incredible movie, but like it's cool. It's got the fun action, and I think it has a little bit like more of like a streamlined narrative that you can follow. One of the things for me that like, I don't know, I don't expect these movies to be even like a Jurassic Park or anything like that. Even though for me, it's just kind of like, man, with all the really talented writers that we have nowadays, why do these kind of movies just always have garbage stories? And sometimes it's not even about them just simply having garbage stories. Sometimes it's just they over kind of complicating it. Like when you look at the narrative of this movie and the like what the setup is, like Godzilla has gone crazy all of a sudden. People don't know why. We know why later on with Mechagodzilla and that whole thing. And you feel there's that threat. So let's go get Kong that we've somehow put inside of some sort of dome on his own island, and you know, take him to this hollow Earth that they knew where it was. You know, they knew.
You're trying to explain it.
it's just so when you really think about it, they knew where the Hollow Earth place location was. Like they were taking Kong to like a hole in the ground, and they just followed him after that. But it's like, couldn't they have just gone there themselves? And like they had the vehicles. That's what they really needed. Like, what did Kong really do? And it's just. I think at the end of the day, it was just strange. Like, hey, we're gonna go to the center of the earth thing to find this energy so we can take out Godzilla. And it was just like when I saw it twice, and I was just thinking to myself, man, I really don't give a damn about anything happening in this story at all. Like, I'm okay with like caring about a couple things. Like, I think in this series alone, I would say that Kong Skull Island was the only one that really kind of made like a very straightforward narrative. People come to the island. You know, King Kong movies are usually pretty good at that. You know, like it's a pretty basic premise. You're going to come to the island. You're going to come across Kong and these various other creatures, and you know, eventually there will be these great action set pieces and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that one did the best job of telling. You know, it wasn't the most incredible story of all time, but I think it was just like a good, fun monster movie with a story you can follow and characters that you could attach to some degree. This movie, similar to what Mike said, the only person I cared about at all and wanted to see more of was the little girl who had the connection with Kong. Like, I think that really was the heart of the movie.
I think King Kong was the heart of the movie. I think Kong, I care more about Kong. I know I'm on Team Godzilla, but Kong was the guy I was feeling for. Even though when Godzilla, you know, was beating him, I felt really bad. Like, don't really do it to him, no. You know what I'm saying? Like he was my narrative, and with the little girl, like I don't know. I didn't really like Skull Island narrative that well either. You know what I'm saying? They had big name actors, and it was pretty straightforward. But I'm here the same thing, man. I'm here to see Kong. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. To me, it doesn't. And this type of thing, it doesn't matter. If I want to see some story narrative, I can watch No Man Land where Francis McDormand is shitting in the bucket. I mean, that's drama for you. If you want some deep drama character narrative. I mean, I'm here to see the lizard and the Bucky fight. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm here on the big screen and jump popcorn in the mouth. Just to me. Just to me. I know you feel differently about that, but you know, I was like,
yeah, and I definitely want to say that I agree with that part of it for sure. Like that's where I'm like the conflict. Like I'm kind of conflicted because I'm a huge fan of those old like Toho films, like those original films from back in the day. Like I've always really enjoyed that. The various franchises. I even like the late '90s American one that people don't like with Matthew Broderick. I'm one of those people. I don't think it's a great Godzilla film, but I like it more than people give it credit. Personally, but yeah, what Mike, you agree?
Really?
Yeah, I remember watching that film as a kid so many times.
Yeah, same here. I think maybe we grew up with it, and it just kind of like it wasn't my first introduction to Godzilla, but it was one of those earlier installments. So I hadn't really had a huge lineage with the character just yet. But I agree with you in the sense that like I came to this movie for the fight, and at the end of the day, like in my review, I just said like I had so much positive to say, but it was all around the fight, which was cool. Like that's what you came for. I just feel like for me, it's like I'm at a place where like in modern cinema, you mean to tell me that you can't just make a far better, like, I don't know, a far better narrative? It's just something that's a little bit more enticing in any way, shape, or form. Like genuinely, like nobody read over the script and said, Millie Bobby Brown and these two other people, they're not doing anything. Like they have zero play in the story. If they would have only focused on the people that were on the boat that were transporting Kong, like if they would have mainly focused on those characters and the little deaf girl and like that connection, because Kong is kind of like, I don't know if you guys agree or not, and I'm going to shut up for now in a second so you guys can talk too, because I want to hear you guys' thoughts. Kong is kind of the main character of the two monsters, you know what I mean? Like Godzilla is the antagonist, and you know, you end up understanding later on, but I think they do such a great job of making Kong such like a character, like a main character for the movie. So had they really honed in on just those main characters that were dealing with transporting him, I think they could have made a more compelling story, since I think we all agree that Kong really did bring a lot of heart. Like you really did emotionally care about his character throughout the course of the film. So why not build a story around that's at least a little bit more leaning, like making Kong still the main character, not detracting from his screen time by, you know, having the humans, but at least having it amplify it the way that the little girl did, you know? What do you guys have to say about that?
Yeah, well, listen, you know, I hate to bring Rocky into this, but follow the Rocky 4 formula, okay? Rocky 4 is the most popular of the franchise, not because it's the best movie, but because you came to see Rocky fight Drago. You know what I'm saying? So in between that, you have a couple of montages. You have a little smoochy moments with Rocky and Adrian. Okay, but then you see the training, you see the fight. That's what you came for. So with these versus movies, use the formula of trim as much fat off as possible. Show a little bit of, just show just enough just to say, okay, this is why they're fighting. This is what's going on, and then get right to it. Because if you take a poll, Rocky IV is probably the most watchable of the series because it gets right to the fucking point. You know what I'm saying? At under an hour and 34 minutes. So this could have been easily an hour and 33, 34 minutes, and you would not feel like you got cheated because the fight was worth the price of admission. That's what you came to see. Hour 53 minutes, too fucking long. We did not care, And I want to say this, Kong, for once, I want to see a movie where Kong is not a sympathetic bitch. Okay, Kong is a badass. He's the king. He's a badass. All right, he's a savage. But every movie you see King Kong in, you feel like he's probably gonna die, and he's died in every movie except for Skull Island. Skull Island is the one time. Skull Island is the one time that you actually see him in his full badassery. But when you watch this one, in the back of my mind, I'm like, okay, Kong's gonna die in this movie. Either Godzilla gonna kill him, or Mega Godzilla's gonna kill him, or the fucking airplane's gonna kill him again. He's probably gonna die. Let's have for once, like even having him in captivity. I guess I know they were trying to save him from Godzilla, but King Kong, save him from nobody. Come on, man. You gonna put Godzilla in captivity? You can't do it. He's the king. Yeah. Put some respect on Kong's name.
Yeah. I'm glad they gave me a little sympathetically from Kong though, because like Godzilla was the monster in this. Basically he was just fucking shit up, devious. He was the overbearing presence of the whole movie, like breathing on shit, killing shit. But without that balance from Kong, that's why the people don't matter here, because Kong brought the emotional, beats for me to actually give a shit about anything. You know what I'm saying? So I do feel you. If he was a little bit more savage too, that'd be dope. But right. Throughout history, he's never been really savage. He's always been a savage, but had a heart of gold. He falls for the women. Yeah. You know how Kong is with women. You know what I'm saying? So, he falls head over backwards and just fall in love. Yep. So yeah. But I'm glad he was there, and I might add this: Kong to me is the best Kong I've seen throughout history. To me, I just think he's super badass. I don't think nobody can mess with him though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I even loved, even in defeat, okay, even though, I did say they made Kong a little bitch, even though they kind of did a little bit, but I love the moment where Godzilla, even in defeat, now he's got his foot on his chest, got in his face, and then Kong looked at him like, nigga, fuck you. Back
and his head was bigger. His head was way bigger than Godzilla too. So you seen those teeth come out I was like, yes, come on.
What? It's like, man, fuck your couch, nigga. If you're gonna kill me, kill me. So at that part, I was like, if you're gonna go out like that.
He was a beast.
Like no little punk.
Yeah, he got some heart, man. Yeah. Kong got major heart.
Got a lot of heart. Even when after Mega Godzilla was defeated and Godzilla came back up, Kong was like, look, man, I don't want to fight your ass, but if we got to do this again, we got to do this again.
Run that page, son.
Yeah, we got, Godzilla was like, nah, man, respect. Drop the axe. All right, listen. We cool for right now, but you defeated Mega Godzilla. That means right now, technically, you're the king. We got to run this back again, but because you saved my life, we're gonna let this one go for now, but we gotta run this one back though. That's what I got out of that.
Run that pay. Yeah. I love it.
For sure. It's definitely gonna happen again, and as far as I would definitely have to agree that with what you said about the Kong from this version being the most badass, right? But I think my personal favorite Kong movie still to this day is the 2005 Peter Jackson one. I just think that one's just it's just so epic. It has so much time to breathe. There's so much time before you even get to the island. So you feel like you've really had time with the characters. And that's a monster movie right there.
I'm talking about King Kong, though. I'm talking about the beast, Kong himself. You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I agree that the current one is definitely the most badass. Like he would eat the one that is in the 2005 version.
He was cool.
I was just saying that I think the 2005 version is the best movie. A question to you, and I'll start a question to you guys, and I'll start with Mike. Well, Mike, you can also just give us all your thoughts on everything that was just said because there was a lot said there. But also, do you guys think that in this MonsterVerse that we'll ever eventually? I'm sure that they'll probably do another Godzilla versus Kong at some point. Like they're gonna do that rematch. It's gonna everybody's going to want to watch it. This movie obviously was a success. But do you guys think that we'll ever see this version of Kong be like have like the traditional Kong death, like being killed in the Empire State Building? Do you think that that's something that we'll ever see happen in this series? Start with Mike, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think there's a need to kill off the Empire State Building, this kind of monsterverse that they've set up, especially with him ending in like the Hollow Earth as well. I mean, it's tough in the way to go. I mean, I know this film has broke like global records or streaming records at least. So it kind of also depends on, I guess, the contracts that the studio have in terms of going forward or the decisions, whatever they make. I mean, I would like to see him kind of go to the Empire State Building because, kind of like yourself, Perez, like the 2005 version, I do like the movie. Again, it's kind of one of those I went to the cinema to see originally. I've seen a couple of times since. I don't hate on it. In terms of like kind of just quick general thoughts, what the other guy said, yeah, I agree. I just wish that the human narrative, if they'd written it better, or like that David guy and the boat, at least, because those ones in the boat are the ones we see for most of this film. But again, it was only the little girl that I cared about. The rest of them, I was like, I wish Kong would just take the little girl but sink the boat with everyone else on it. So yeah, man, I'd like to see him go to the Empire State, but I think with the MonsterVerse set up, I don't think there's a real need to as such.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. What about you, Rashad? What do you think?
Yeah, we've seen that version 3 times already. We don't need to see it again. All right, I've had my heart broken 3 times. I watched the 33 version in film class. It broke my heart. Okay, then I watched the 76 one with Jessica Lange as a kid. That broke my heart. Okay, then the 2005 one, such a masterpiece, broke my heart when Kong died. So I don't want to see that again. Let's just keep the MonsterVerse going. I don't want to say retcon it. Let's just say we know what happened somewhere down the line, but for right now, in this MonsterVerse, let Kong have his moment. Let him be the king that we know he is. And that's it, and that's all.
What about you, Q?
Yeah, I think this is a different Kong entirely. It's not King Kong because I think Universal still somehow has rights to the name King Kong. This
I
is
didn't know
Warner
that.
Brothers. Yeah. This is Warner Brothers, so they kind of acquired the rights to King Kong, but I think it's still some type of weird thing like the Hulk got. You know what I'm saying? Like they can't, Marvel can't make a standalone Hulk movie, but I think Universal Paramount can or whatever, some type of weird tie. So this is entirely new Kong altogether. So I don't think, and plus he can punch a hole through the Empire State Building. You know what I'm saying? He's big as shit. You know what I'm saying? He's big as Godzilla. You know what I'm saying? He's big as Godzilla. So it's not gonna be no Empire State. He will eat the Empire State Building. So you're not gonna see him die. You're not gonna see this Kong die for a long time, as long as they keep making films. I think they're gonna keep on with this MonsterVerse because I think Kong versus Godzilla had a lot to bring in the theaters about it. A lot of people went to the movies to actually see this. I'm one of them and set my ass down at the theater and watched it. And there was people there. I was like, holy shit, these Titans are bringing our butts back to the seats. So I'm happy for that. And then is right now for a movie in a pandemic is doing highly successful. So I definitely see them making some more. They're going to be more stupid ass scripts with stupid ass jokes, but fire CG, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I can't wait. Definitely don't kill Kong again. They're not going to do that.
Yeah, listen, follow the Rocky IV formula and you'll be fine. Just get right to the point.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I definitely got to agree. They're definitely, well, that's one thing I want to definitely touch on that you were just mentioning. And I guess I should also say, I don't think that they'll do anything like that with this version of Kong. I was just curious what you guys would say, but he's just too big, like you said. Like he's just, I was talking to my fiance about it. There's just no way that him, like his big ass on top of the building, like I could imagine him climbing the building and using his weight to snap half of it off to use it as a weapon rather than actually like, you know, like in this movie, there were some buildings that were bigger than him, you know, because I did want to be able to see him kind of like bounce off of some buildings, and he did do a little bit of that. So, you know, it's not impossible, but yeah, I doubt that they'll go down that path. I was just definitely curious. Also, how do you guys feel about having random characters reappear in these movies, like Millie Bobby Brown's character, like such a random character. You know, she's such a big actress, but such a random character from King of the Monsters, and then comes into this and serves zero purpose. Do you care to see recurring characters in these movies, or is it just something that is just kind of like, you know, like make new characters every time?
They're all disposable and expendable. Who gives a shit? Like Q says, man, we ain't here for them. I mean, respecting Millie Bobby Brown, I love Stranger Things, but you know, in Godzilla versus Kong, I don't give a shit about you. That's just what it is.
What it is. And she served no purpose at all. Like she's predicting Godzilla's movements. How fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I you know what I'm saying? Like I just couldn't wait for her to go off the screen so I can, you know what I'm saying, see the CG again. So I can at least get Kong and the Deaf Girl. I really like that, you know, like give me more of that. Whatever the hell they talking about, man, Paperboy, get the fuck off the screen, bro. I'm sorry. It was trash.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I got a question. Oh, I'm sorry, Z. Go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
Bless it.
No, I was going to say I agree. I think sometimes they put these big characters in there just to sell tickets, or at least put the name on the poster. Like Millie Bobby Brown, obviously, we saw in Godzilla, King of the Monsters. So if they give them an interesting arc, then yeah, by all means. But as like you and Rashad said, if they're not going to make them interesting or disposable, then just use them at least to get the two monsters together, and then just no more humans for the rest of the movie. I'd be happy with that.
Yeah. I mean, well, nothing with the human characters. If you're gonna do that, make them at least over the top and fun. Like, I mean, Skull Island, Samuel L. Jackson was perfect for that movie because he had a vendetta against Kong. You know what I'm saying? He was hell bent on getting Kong, and I love that because he was so over the top and so ridiculous. Where when he was on screen, when him and Kong were having that beef, I was kind of into it until he got crushed. But yeah, if you're gonna add human characters, man, make them at least fun.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Well, we see right here, News to Astonish, who, thanks, man. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Says nobody cares about the human characters, which, yes, that is definitely the case. And I think that's the thing, right? It's like, even myself, I don't care about the human characters. They didn't take away from my love of this movie for those titans, the love of seeing Godzilla and Kong come together. Like, I was sitting here, like, you know, just like absolutely just grinning watching all of those sequences. It's just one of those things that, especially as somebody who now, like, you know, I review movies multiple times a week, every week. You know, we all do. And it's like, when you do that and you try to critique films and break down what works, what doesn't work, obviously you're going to kind of be, you know, a little bit more lenient with certain films like this one. Just, you don't expect, like, you know, if a Star Wars movie had a narrative like this one, it's like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, if a Marvel movie comes out.
Don't get Q started. See what Perez, it's your fault. You did it. Okay? You know, don't bring up Star Wars around this guy.
I got a Rise of Skywalker.
Listen. For the issues that Rise of Skywalker does have, bro, this movie has a way worse story than Rise of Skywalker.
I don't know, bro. Is that the last one?
Perez, you did it.
I might get them mixed up.
My whole life.
What's the last Star Wars called? That one I hate. The one I despise.
That was the rise of Skywalker.
Oh yes, that movie is bad, bro. You talk about some plot holes, boy. I'm not gonna. I know you love it, Perez, but I'm not gonna get into it. But I was just like, hey, man,
bro,
y'all could have did better. That was J.J. Abrams.
Well, let's just say Ray was so overpowered. Ray was so overpowered in that movie where she could have forced choked Godzilla and Kong movie over. That's how powerful Ray was.
Lightning.
Rise of Skywalker.
Out of nowhere, too. Where the Emperor come from? How does Death Destroyers come out of the ground? I don't know. Somebody help me understand this. That really made no sense. You know, even though King Godzilla had that Middle Earth shit, you know what I'm saying? Sure, that was ridiculous. But, you know, it's a lot of big movies that have it too. So, you know, I wouldn't care. I was there for the fun, though, of Rise of Skywalker, but I couldn't find the fun. I just couldn't.
Perez, you did it.
Yeah, I know. Chuck, every time this is brought up amongst us, this happens. I'm
the dark side.
Rise of Skywalker is not nearly that bad. Anyway, so as far as the Godzilla versus Kong portion of all this, one thing I wanted to mention for sure, like Q's been saying, is the CG is absolutely phenomenal in this movie. I think this is one of the best CG like monster movies I've ever seen in my entire life. And for anybody who doesn't know, Q Reviews is himself a CG artist. So, like I asked you when we were talking about the Justice League just a couple weeks ago, I got to ask you now, like as a CG artist, how does it feel to see work like that done? And what were there moments that didn't work for you as much on a CG level, or was it all just like top notch for you the entire time?
I had a couple friends who worked on this. I didn't get a chance to work on this. It was out in California, but I absolutely loved it. I loved all of the Monster versus CG. I even liked the Gareth Edwards one, the little that you see of Godzilla, and it's dark though, but I still like what they did there, and I really like Skull Island because it was in the daylight, and I was really appreciative that this movie had a lot of the fights in broad daylight. Like that aircraft carrier scene was incredible for CG. I was like, that's a lot of CG water and monsters. This costs a lot of money, so I was very, very impressed, and I was very impressed of how buildings were not just getting broken; they were getting completely obliterated. Like that was so fun to see. The movie shined so much when these two titans were on scene together. That's why I got the movie out of 4, because as soon as they come up, the whole film elevates to a top-notch level. Like, holy shit, I can't believe I'm watching this. I mean, I remember watching the old King Kong Godzilla when he stuffing a stupid tree in his mouth and shit. Now to see Mecha Godzilla grab Godzilla neck and mush his face all up and down buildings and shit, and I can see it like, brrr, gave him that work, son. I was like, this shit is amazing. Yes. And besides Caesar as a monkey, Cohen got it. Besides Caesar. He's still the king.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
man. Caesar, and we talked about it on the last live stream as well. But man, I just recently did a review for War for the Planet of the Apes, the last one, and man, that guy has to be probably the. I think honestly, if I really try to think, I think that's the best CG I've ever seen in my life. Like as far as the most realistic CG. Those apes, when those apes are in scenes together or just with other humans, like they are indistinguishable, like especially with like an ape, like Bad Ape or
Maurice.
or like Maurice, like Maurice the orangutan. Like just
you can't tell me they ain't a real orangutan, son.
It's really mind blowing. Have you seen those movies, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely loved them. Of the Planet Apes one, Rise is my favorite.
Oh yeah, that's right. I think you did say that. You commented on one of my videos saying that Rise is a great one, man.
I love all three of them, man. I mean, if I put them in order, I give Dawn just a slight edge over Rise, just slightly, man. Just because I think the story was a lot better. But it's funny you say that because after me and my son we watched Godzilla versus King Kong again. I mean versus Kong, and then afterwards I said, okay, I wonder how he's gonna like Planet of the Apes because he's never seen it. So we watched Rise, and I'm like, yeah. But I said, this is Kong's cousin. That's his little cousin Caesar. So he's like, that's Kong's cousin. Is he cousin Caesar? Yeah. So. He loved Kong and Godzilla so much that he watched the entire Rise of the Planet of the Apes, and it's hard to get that guy to sit and watch anything. But the fact that he thought that was Kong's little cousin, he watched the whole thing.
That's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Hey, that's low key one of the best trilogies of all time. The Planet of the Apes,
very underrated. Very underrated.
I would argue that, like, as far as like a trilogy, like I think I said it in one of my reviews for it. What's it called? I think as far as like a trilogy, when I really, really think overall about that one, just the way it tells its story, the way that it's just quick, concise. If you watch all three, it's very meticulous about the way it tells Caesar's story. And, for even some of my favorite things of all time, Star Wars, obviously everybody knows, like I love I love the trilogies, but they're all filled with flaws. You know what I mean? Like, I think with Star Wars, it's never been about perfection, but on a film making level, the Planet of the Apes trilogy, the latest one, it's just very, very consistent. And it just like the way that it's able to capture these different tones for each movie. Great. Yeah, I definitely got to agree that Dawn is my favorite of them. With Rise right after and War being my least favorite, not because it's a bad movie, they're all fantastic. That's what's tough.
Right.
But it's a little bit more somber the whole time. You know, it's a little bit more dramatic. And as far as like if you're coming to one of these for like the action and like the emotions and the feels, I think the first two have that. I also want to get your guys' opinions on this right here. I pulled up this comment a moment ago. So the best CG was Legolas sliding down the elephant in Two Towers. Changed my mind.
buddy,
definitely can't agree with that.
No.
I mean, for the time, yeah.
That was all right. And for the time, I was still looking like, I still had my eyebrows raised up at the back of that time. I was like, oh, hey, man, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? That shit look a little crazy. It look a little floaty. Like it's something about like when CG is bad, you know, because you know it's no real weight or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So when you got that shit up that close, and somebody's literally a physical person slide down on the camera, so he's on a green screen like this, it's really hard to match those things. And I just immediately could tell on that shot. I don't really love that shot a lot. I mean, I thought it was a cool idea, but aesthetically it looks floaty to me, like Zack Snyder stuff. So it's all right.
Q has spoken. Does that answer your question? Is your mind changed now? This is coming from a CG artist. All right.
No. I'm just saying. And don't crap on Star Wars too much, Anthony. You was talking about you think it's those first 3 movies changed cinema forever. Period. With special effects, with storytelling, with scores, everything. If it wasn't for Star Wars, we wouldn't have Dawn of the Planet of the Apes or even movies like Godzilla.
Yeah, for sure. But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I love those movies. I think for me, Star Wars has never been about perfection, and I think that's why I think a lot of people. And as much as I love them, as much as I know the movies, I read the books, I read the comics, I've watched all the shows. Like as much as I love the franchise, I love it for its like terrible things. Like as a kid, I grew up with Jar Jar. Jar Jar's on my shirt right now, right over here.
Oh, yeah.
The
first three ain't nothing to sneeze at, though. You know that
for sure. Well, those are the original trilogy. But if you watch even like A New Hope, for instance, if you watch A New Hope, come on. At the end of the day, no matter how great that movie is, no matter how perfect George Lucas set up the franchise with that first installment, setting up the tone, the feel, the sound effects, the score, everything that would make Star Wars what it is in the future. As much as he got perfectly right, there's still that fight between Kenobi and Vader. There's still that scene when, exactly. There's still that scene. There's still that scene where they're like the stormtroopers are walking in like through that doorway, and the one stormtrooper bumps his head in the corner. That's in the movie. It was a mistake, and it stayed there. And so stuff like that is always a reminder to me that like with Star Wars, like I just have fun with it. You know what I mean? Like it's
the cantina scene is ridiculous.
There's little things that you can pick out of every movie, and especially having watched them so much in my life, and like trying to learn like trivia questions. Essentially, like I've looked for the mistakes essentially, and I just have fun. I have a lot of fun with them. I see we got Blacktastic in here saying, "My fellas,
Blacktastic, what up?
Blacktastic, what up, bro?
Hey man, what's going on?
What up, man? Salute."
Yes, sir.
Blacktastic will be here live with me tomorrow, same time, with a few other YouTubers for a WandaVision spoiler discussion. Weeks late, been wanting to do it for a minute, but I wanted to get that started. I wanted to try to mix up the groups, have different people show up. Trav Tries did end up messaging me saying that he will not be joining us, so it's just going to be us. And then I see real quick, I see that Donald Michelin says Q Reviews clearly knows what he's talking about, referring to your thoughts on Legolas.
It's all right. It's a cool shot, man. I'm not going to hate on it too much, but I just thought it was like, look a little silly. That's just in my opinion. That's just my opinion. If you love it, man. You know what I'm saying? You can love it. You know, it's just my stupid opinion. Who knows? I like Howard the Duck, so you know what I'm saying.
Howard the Duck.
Put some respect on Howard the Duck's name, man. I love that movie.
Me too. People hate it, but I like it.
I've been meaning to rewatch that one. It's been quite some time. I thought for a little bit we were going to get a Howard the Duck movie with his appearance in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and he even showed up. He even showed up in the if you like freeze frame it, he shows up during the fight at Endgame in the background.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah.
Comes out of the portal. You know, which I think is funny, but it's like, come on, I would at this point give us a Howard the Duck movie. Would you? We're gonna get back to Godzilla versus Kong. We kind of took a steer real quick, but
yeah.
You guys want a Howard the Duck movie in the MCU as it currently is?
Oh, maybe not in the MCU.
I mean, I want to see Howard the Duck, but like make it its own thing, like make it as weird and bizarre as it was in the 80s, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, as a kid, every time it came on HBO, I watched it. Yeah, duck titties and all. Every time it came on HBO, I watched it. I'm a fan. You know?
Yeah, me too. I used to watch the shit out of that movie. I don't know why, dude. I guess this is like 1986, though. You know what I'm saying? So like, we never seen, like a duck talking shit like that, and smoking cigars and having sex with a woman,
smashing Leah Thompson,
smashing Leah Thompson, smash fucking Marty McFly's mom, son. Don't sleep on Howard the Duck. Howard the Duck is a dude.
Put some respect on his name.
Put some respect on your Howard, son.
What about you, Mike? Would you want to see Howard the Duck in the MCU?
Well, at this point, why not?
Yeah, right. That's my thought. Is why not for sure. But all right, let's get back to Godzilla versus Kong. Mike, I'm going to start with you this time around. Then we'll go to Rashad. Then we'll go to Q. What was if you really think about the movie, favorite action sequence, maybe favorite moment in this movie between the two Titans that really, when you think about it overall, kind of just encapsulates your general love for maybe a specific moment of action?
Yeah, I've got to say when they're fighting in Hong Kong, by far. I mean, I just love the fact that they just tore buildings apart. Like Q said, it wasn't just like half a building; it was just the whole thing was destroyed. And yeah, I just really that fight scene, especially when Godzilla's got his foot on Kong's chest as well. And like Rashad said, especially Kong's just well, you might have won at the moment, but I can still try and whoop you if I want. But yeah, I would say definitely the Hong Kong fight was my favorite part of the film.
What about you, Rashad?
The second round is my favorite when Kong was getting the best of him. Okay, because I love out of everybody Godzilla fought, Kong is the smartest because if you notice, every time he tried to breathe that fire, Kong would catch that shit like, nah, motherfucker, you ain't catching me with that fire. Every single time he would hit him, he would push him, everything to deflect him throwing that fire, and then of course he did catch him that one time. That's when he started laughing at him. Okay, you win some, you lose some. And then when he stuck the axe down his throat, copying off of the 63 movie.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. And so that whole second round, Kong fought so smart. I'm like, yes. You know what I mean? And I love also after Kong got his ass whooped, and the little girl told him to go back and fight again because Godzilla's not the enemy. And Kong looked like, fuck him. Like he almost tried to kill me. I ain't going to help him. And she's like, please. And Kong was like, all right, I'll do it. So he popped that shoulder back in place. Bow, rolled that motherfucker back. I love that shot. I love that shot right there.
That was that lethal weapon right there, right?
Let's go. Yeah, straight up rigs. Knock the building down, everything. Roll that motherfucker back. Let's go. But I even liked also when Godzilla was trying to play stealth and look for him, and Kong was hiding on top of the building, and he distracted him by throwing that whatever that was. And then when Godzilla looked, Kong jumped right on him, went to fucking him up again. But of course, Godzilla's the headliner, so they have to give him the win. But we all know Kong whooped that ass.
He whooped that ass. Oh no! Godzilla whooped that motherfucking ass, man. He whooped his ass. He had his foot on his chest, stuffed his heart out, son. I was like, oh man, don't do it. Don't breathe the fire. He was like, I should breathe that fire on your motherfucking ass, but I will chill. No, I will chill. I'm gonna let you live. So he killed him. He killed Kong, right? If they didn't have that, the humans didn't have that defibrillator on them. So I don't know. And plus, the humans helped Kong when Godzilla was in the water. You know what I'm saying? They had missiles and bombs and shit. You know what I'm saying? Let these dudes fight. But Kong didn't have a chance in that water. I mean, it'd have been credits. It'd have been credits after that first 18 minutes, son. Like if he got him in that water, it's over. He could just take him to the bottom of the ocean and just hold him there. I mean, he's a mammal, so he had to breathe air. So yeah, he was fucked up. Like Kong, he was coughing up water, looking worried and shit. My man Kong was looking worried in a couple of them scenes though, man. It's like his eyes, but he still, they still had it out though, bro. But,
well, the piggyback off of that, man, part two of the question, of the answer is the fact that I was pissed off that my boy got his ass stomped out and chest all scratched up. I got great satisfaction when Mega Godzilla came and beat the fuck out of Godzilla. I mean, he beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, he got the worst ass whooping of the movie.
Man, look, you ever heard what somebody say, "I'm gonna drag your ass through here"? Like he had his ass through the city and beat the cowboy shit out of him.
He got the cowboy shit. You know it's real when you say cowboy shit When you get the cowboy shit beat out of you, Godzilla got the cowboy shit beat out of him.
Man, I took great satisfaction in that. Yeah.
He was like,
loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
He got his
Loved
ass
it.
whooped. I'm like, oh shit. This Mega Godzilla is no joke, son. Like,
No,
I thought he was gonna be
played.
like kind of okay and shit. Like, he was like Mega Godzilla gonna come out. He gonna do some rah shit. Oh no, he grabbed Godzilla by his neck. It was like, buildings were like turning into dust. Godzilla was like, shit. He got the worst ass whooping of the movie.
He did. Oh, he took the worst L. He took the worst L. Like even like he's laying there, Godzilla's laying there, his skin's lighting up and shit from getting lit up. He's just like, like he know he was about to die. Loved it.
He was on his feet. You know, Godzilla, barely.
Yeah.
But
that's the only reason Godzilla didn't kill Kong, no man, because Kong had to save his ass. So that's the only reason why Godzilla didn't kill Kong, you know, after the fight was over with.
Yeah, they definitely had to do that Batman versus Superman thing, you know, just having that final battle. Because really, when you think about it, like you said, like, and the more that Q was talking about it, I was just thinking to myself, man, they really did show that Godzilla could have won this in so many places. Like, there's only really one section of the movie where you're like, Kong has the upper hand here. Godzilla in the water, there's that section where he's dragging him down, you know, like he's got his tail wrapped around him. And if it wasn't for those little missiles that fell down into the water, he would have been drowned and dead right there, like you said, in the first 18 minutes. And then later on, I mean, like, especially the second time I watched it, I was just like, man, like, he really did. He threw him on the ground, stepped on his chest, you know, tore him up, yelled in his face, and then walked away with like that side eye of just, bitch, and just like just kind of left him there, man. And yeah, I mean, it was nice to see Godzilla kind of need Kong later on, because when they come together, it's really epic, man. But yeah, if I had to think about my personal favorite action sequence in the movie, it has to be the finale. You know, like the final fight between, like, there was great moments in that Hong Kong fight for sure. Like that was, I would say, like almost like the main showcase of the movie, but the finale, just being able to see the two come together, especially the way that the music amps up in these certain moments. Like the first time that I think if I'm not mistaken, Mechagodzilla was gonna like blast his laser beam like straight into Godzilla, and that's when you just see Kong jumping from the back, and just like the tug of war of the two of them grabbing his arms and punching his head and doing this, like all that, like it just was exciting from beginning to end for like as far as that action sequence. And another question I had on my head the entire time, it was, man, where the hell were the last movie? Every monster known to man showed up. Like not a single one. Like where all the rest of them like seeing this happen and go, no, I'm not fucking.
Yeah, they didn't want the smoke. They didn't want the smoke.
They didn't want that smoke, son.
They didn't want that smoke. Yeah.
Do you think that's why
when Mechagodzilla showed up? Yeah.
Do you think that they purposely? I'll throw this question first to Mike, and then we'll move around. But like, do you think that they purposely, what's it called? Like, took out Ghidorah early in this franchise simply to know that, like, because I really think that if Ghidorah was still around, he probably would have been the one monster to definitely be like, oh, I'm gonna join this fight right now and just take my rightful place, because they took him out pretty early, and then based on King of the Monsters, you know, he wasn't like an easy task. Like Godzilla didn't have to pull out any of the moves that he had to pull out in King of the Monsters, including atomic breath and going thermonuclear to take out Kong. Even though, let's be honest, he could have whipped out a little bit of that, and for the sake of a movie, they didn't do that. What do you think, Mike? Do you think that they took out Ghidorah early in the franchise for that reason?
Yeah, no doubt. I think all along the plan was to have these two giants meet in some kind of scale and just go at it. Yeah, and I'm kind of glad the monsters didn't show up though, because it would have kind of just deterred from the fact Godzilla v Kong, and we just got like just a MonsterVerse movie as such, which, don't get me wrong, I would have liked to see, but at the same time, I just felt like I think they hit the nail on the head. Just Godzilla v Kong. We also got Mechagodzilla, which I had no clue about going into the film either, so I was really surprised to see that. Overall, yeah, I'm happy with what I got, to be fair, with the monsters, and yeah, man, all good.
What about you, Q?
About what I got overall? What was the question? I'm sorry again. No, I was listening to Mike. I was listening to what you had to say. I forgot to ask you a question though.
No, I had asked. Now I forgot what I had asked. What did I ask?
You asked, did Ghidorah get taken out too early in the franchise?
Did Ghidorah get taken out too early?
Yeah, I don't think Ghidorah wanted to smoke between Godzilla and King Kong together though. That shit would have been nasty. Those head. I mean, Ghidorah he don't have any arms, so Kong got all the arms. You know what I'm saying? So he could choke a couple up while Godzilla, you know what I'm saying, do whatever to tail and death. So even though Ghidorah is the king of the monsters, he was no joke back in those old movies and shit. So I don't know. I think it'd have been a good fight if they had him as the final boss. But I think, did you see like the peep game that Mecha Godzilla kind of was Ghidorah? Like he possessed the Mecha Godzilla thing because they had the head or some stupid plot shit or whatever.
Right, so I think it had his consciousness. Yeah,
his consciousness. Yeah, so he had his consciousness. I think it was balanced out well. This monster universe, if I could be completely honest with you, having Ghidorah fight Godzilla, that's classic monster shit right there. Even though I think they had too much humans in King of Monsters, which turned it into a bore fest. That's the only thing about King of Monsters. It's extremely boring. For two big ass monsters, for all these monsters to be up on screen, why is it so goddamn boring, son? And but the story arc with Ghidorah is dope, and I think King of the Monsters is too dark for the fights. But I think it's a good middle arc for him. They can bring him back because there's many variations, like in the old school movies or whatever, so they can bring Ghidorah back. I like to see him come back one more time. Maybe this whole underground shit could be a big Avengers level events for the monsters. Rodan, Mothra, all of them come back, Kong and shit, you know, CG fucking nightmare, because you're gonna be in the office working on that CG for 3 years straight. We're never going home. So yeah, I would like to see that. But yeah, they might have killed him off a little too early, but I think he'll be back for sure.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, they have his DNA, his consciousness, so they can easily do some kind of thing where they clone him, or like Jurassic Park, bring him back some kind of way. I did see Blacktastic leave a comment saying that the reason why the monster didn't show up because Ghidorah controls all the monsters. See, I didn't know that, so that's why they all showed up at the end of King of the Monsters, because Ghidorah, like telepathy or whatever, controlled all of them. That's okay. That's a good point. That explains some shit. Then
I think that played some role. Like I think like I don't remember if it was like telepathy or just like, you know, like they kind of like sense each other. You know what I mean? They talk about that in this movie, like that they know that they're around. Like so, the ship was moving and Godzilla knew. They got a fucking huge ape on this thing. So I think there's that element. I think Ghidorah just had such a powerful presence. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the Force in a way. It kind of seems like, you know what I mean? Like where they're able to tell like somebody in the room is really strong in the Force, which is I think is essentially what it is with Ghidorah. He's just like this really strong monster that kind of like people. It's like he's just intimidating. So that's why, like for me, it's like, man, like if they could have. I like the idea that it was Ghidorah or part of Ghidorah inside of the Mecha Godzilla getting like revenge. But like I do think they kind of took him out pretty early just for the sake of like he would probably have wanted to be a part of this fight. You know what I mean? Like he probably would not have sat on the sidelines. Moving forward, what do you guys think we're going to be seeing next? You know, as far as these movies like this, because I find it hard to believe that they'll go back to just simply like another random regular Godzilla movie or a regular Kong movie. They probably will. But do you guys think we'll start seeing a lot more verses? Maybe like start bringing out characters that are known to longtime fans, but like maybe like they're not, you know, it's like Godzilla versus Kong is like an iconic title, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like maybe one day we get like, you know, like a Mothra versus Rodan. Would you guys want to see stuff like that? Or do you want to focus primarily on Godzilla and Kong and kind of have the other monsters show up throughout it? What about you, Q? Let's start with your thoughts.
Yeah, well, Godzilla versus Kong, you know, not the movie intended, but this is the equivalent of Batman versus Superman. You know what I'm saying? Like Godzilla is like, you know, Superman. You know what I'm saying? And Kong is like the equivalent. You know, like not saying like he's human or weak or nothing like that. I'm just saying by like the name straight, he like Batman, like, you know, by popularity. I think more people in America, it might be close, but might like Kong better, you know what I'm saying? You know, and it's crazy that these characters from the 30s still hold so much weight to this day. It's just insane. I mean, you know what I'm saying? What we going over 500 million right now in box office? That the whole world been shut down. Characters from the 30s brought people back. It's just crazy, their level of event. So if they do another one of these movies, I don't know how you up the ante from Godzilla versus Kong, but I'm sure they're going to come up with something. That's why I was saying if they had like Avengers level monster verse, you know what I'm saying, with Mothra, Ghidorah, Rodan, Godzilla, Kong, you know what I'm saying, like a extinction level event, whatever movie fight, you know what I'm saying, where everything's just going batshit crazy. I don't know where you can go from Kong versus Godzilla. What are you guys' thoughts?
And what about you, Rashad? What do you think?
I think the next movie might be about the Hollow Earth. They might go more into that because I think they introduced that for a reason. So yeah. I think that they're going to build up to like a bigger threat, like Avengers style, you know, MCU. So I'm not too knowledgeable on the big baddies of this verse. Like I mean, I heard a couple of names thrown around, like the biggest of the baddest of these monsters, and I can't think of the name, but I think it's going to build up to that. So Hollow Earth might be the next one that's going to build up to like this big, like in-game type showdown, and you know, kind of ended right there. So that's where I think they're going to go with it.
What about you, Mike?
Yeah, completely agree with what Rashad was saying as well. So because they've got this Hollow Earth, obviously King Kong is the ruler of it at the moment. He showed that when he was like chopping heads off or splitting heads open and stuff. And yeah, I mean, what we saw of it is just so huge, this Hollow Earth, that it has the point where they can have like different big monsters in like different sections of this. And then, I don't know, something happens and then on like one of the two sides and it brings these two monsters together to fight. I think with Godzilla v Kong, they've established like such a big franchise already, and they've kind of set this up where more monsters can come into it. And I would like to personally see more monster movies about ones that I personally don't know about. Seems like yourself and Q have maybe more knowledge than myself anyway, and like other monsters that exist. But yeah, I would love to see more monsters and just open it up as like a multiverse and such.
Yeah, no, I think it could be something really cool. I hope that they do start to kind of lean into bringing in some of these more obscure monsters that maybe like longtime fans know, and they were in King of the Monsters. You know, some of those monsters that were there, like it would be great to see them kind of maybe be the spotlight or like the main monster of a movie. You know what I mean? You're likely still gonna have your human characters and all that kind of stuff, but I think what's really cool is that there are certain monsters that live on certain parts of the earth. Specifically, and you know, you can kind of like change regions a little bit, give us new sites, new locations for some of these monsters, and I think creating this huge universe where we see some of these monsters rise and fall, or maybe some of them team up. Like, could you imagine? Like, I mean, they would probably have to build through tons of movies, but could you imagine if they did something like a Captain America Civil War-esque kind of thing, where like you have Kong and Godzilla, and they have their own teams of monsters that are working together. You know what I mean? Like you got Kong working with like Rodan and Mothra versus like Kong, and let's say they brought Ghidorah back or any other random like monster from this universe. To be able to see them all working together, but also against each other, could be really cool, man. Because there's so much that they could do with this franchise, and if we're completely just gonna go for balls to the wall action, then hell yeah. And I totally agree with what you were saying, Rashad. It seems more than likely like even maybe the next Kong will be called Kong Hollow Earth. I can totally already see that being a poster, because that's where they left him, and they obviously did that for a very specific reason. So yeah, moving forward, I'm really excited about the prospect of a really like just big and over the top action franchise. Honestly, they could even go. I said it in a comment that I made recently on our post I made on Facebook recently, and I was just like, they could shorten the length of these films. I think you mentioned that a little bit earlier. Like they could shorten the lengths of these films, cut out most human stuff, maybe set up a premise with humans that are there throughout the course of the film, but really just make it mainly about the action. That might be mindless for some, and some people might like disconnect from it or like just be desensitized to the action. But I really think that would just make for the best of these movies, because at the end of the day, it's what people are coming for, is the big CG battles that can be really exciting and enticing and bring these monsters to life in cool ways. And I'm so tired of it being bogged down by these boring stories, kind of like, you know, Q said with like King of the Monsters. Like there's so much greatness in that movie, but there's so much slog that you have to kind of sit through that it's just like, come on, like let's get a better narrative on these. What were you gonna say?
Well, I can imagine, like, with Rashad, when he took his son to the cinema, at no point I can imagine his son being like, Dad, look at that human character, they're so great.
Exactly. Yeah, he didn't care. Yeah, matter of fact, well, besides the times that we had to take him to the bathroom, I think my son made 4 trips to the bathroom, which pissed me off. So I think by the 3rd time I said, I'll never take you to the movies again. And he made me feel bad. He was like, Dad, because I had to keep going to the bathroom? I said, yeah. He's like, well, I don't want to pee on myself. I said, touche. All right, let's go. But yeah, listen, I'm gonna say it again. Rocky 4, just get right to the fucking point. I mean, we watched it again, and I just fast forward through all the stuff that we don't care about. I just went right to the aircraft carrier fight, then Hong Kong. That's it.
Yeah, they got to put those people in there for filler, because to have a CG fight for like a whole hour is extremely expensive.
Oh yeah.
So that's why the stupid shit is there. You know what I'm saying? Just to fill into the big CG fight, because that's the whole movie, right? That's what they spend all the budget on. That CG of the those 2 characters fighting and all the comp work. But yeah, I can agree. If you can somehow make a good narrative story, I doubt they're really even trying that hard to try to even do that. You know what I'm saying? I think they're worrying about blocking shots with Kong and Godzilla, how that's going to play out, because that's like when you see it, that's the star of the piece. You know what I'm saying? That action of the monsters fighting. The rest is just fluff, in my opinion.
Well, Q, can I ask you a question? With your CG expertise. So this is supposed to came out last year. So you think they took time, between last year and now to really clean up the CG, or do you think, that the movie that we see is the movie that we were going to get last year, or did they?
Absolutely not. Yeah. I think they had the whole pandemic just about to clean that film up. So you got to think about all these CG artists. You know what I'm saying? They can work from home. I work from home myself, so it's like, so they probably got all the stuff and worked on it all year. So they didn't have that. Sometimes you get shitty CG when you got a stupid fucking deadline. Like right now, I got a stupid deadline, but I'm doing my best. That's why I'm working. Like I said, work all these hours. You got to work crazy hours to get it out, because people don't understand. Like they'd be like, "Oh shit, well that CG was shitty." You know what I'm saying? But this artist probably had like 3 weeks to do it. You know what I'm saying? They can do it King Kong, and sometimes it just takes a long time to do some of this shit. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You're talking about fur and fucking reptile skin and fire. You know what I'm saying? People gotta, actually make it and color it, and then it's got to mix in with a actual physical city and shit. So it's tons of work, bro. It's tons of work, and I think they had time to sit here and work on this. You know what I'm saying? At least 8 months till the film was ready to release. I think they had about 8 months to polish it up, and I can tell too, because
it shows because like the detail, man. I'm like, wow, for a movie like this, like that CG was really crisp. As you like to say. Yeah.
It looks pretty amazing. It's pretty crazy, and it's crazy because as he was speaking before, I was also thinking, Rashad, I want to ask him a question as a CG expert. Like, how many people does it take it from, like, as far as let's just say like a shot like that one shot in that was from the trailers where they're both standing on top of the boat and Kong punches him like Godzilla in the face. That one shot that was in the trailer that everybody was freaking out about and was in this movie. A shot like that maybe was on screen for like 4 or 5 seconds, of him punching, and like before it cuts to the next shot of them in a different angle. How many people work on something like that usually, and how long does it usually take to render something like that?
Yeah. Oh shit. Well, to probably just work on the animation alone, just that punch and fight hitting them Godzilla, you probably got a team of around at least 30 people. You know what I'm saying? Just to work on the animation, and not even the modeling of the character. That goes to a whole different team who models Godzilla and who models King Kongs. You know what I'm saying? They bring them in a T-pose and they pose them. And then you got a whole nother team that puts the bones and the jiggle and shit in, you know what I'm saying, when they get hit and things like that. That's another team of 30 people. So and you got a whole people to cop in explosions. You get my point. So like to work on that shot, probably going to take around 200 people at least. And to render that shit, it's gonna take about a server room big as a 7-Eleven, probably. Just with server blades. And that's gonna take to render that scene, it's probably gonna take around, just to say that scene, to get up on that boat and fight, is probably gonna take a couple days, about 4 days at fucking super high 8K res, what they probably render it out, and then they dumb it down to 2K. Yeah, so about 4 days just to render that scene you're talking about. Not even the whole fight. I'm just talking about getting up out of the water and punching. Yeah, so it takes some shit like that. And it's easy for us to say too, and I'm one of them too. Like, man, that CG sucks, man. They have too much CG. No, it's people just using the tools wrong. You know what I'm saying? And because obviously we know this is CG, but when it's good CG, you don't even notice that one like Academy Award, like 1917. You don't even notice that shit. Because like when that building was on fire, that whole shit was CG. All of that was CG. That building, all that was fake. You don't know it, but they won Academy Award. Like, how did they not win the Academy Award over Endgame? Well, because you didn't know that was CG. You know, it's kind of hard to say this too when you got mythical, magical creatures and unicorns and shit flying in the game. You obviously think this will win, and it's definitely good though. But it's when you don't notice it too. I mean, it's tons of people that sleep on couches that do this work, and I'm one of them. I slept under desks. Trying to get you hear me sometimes. That's why I can't do videos like that all the time, and I feel bad. It be seeming like I'd be lazy, and I'd be hating it too because I'm missing out on the conversation. I'm missing out on all the movies and all this. I just get so busy sometimes with deadlines. I just can't do it. I just literally don't have the time. By the time I finish work, it's time for me to go to sleep. So it take a lot of people, a lot of hard work to do these things, and that's under deadlines. And I think they had a little bit more time, and they still was under the gun. I bet that. Like I said, my boy worked on it. He said he got to work from his home. He said he was still pulling 14-hour days. So yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that's man, crazy, man. We appreciate your hard work, man, because you make our lives just a little bit easier. So
I didn't do this. I didn't work on this.
Work, man. I'm just saying, like, the stuff you did work on, because I think you said you worked on Game of Thrones, right?
Yeah.
I used to watch that, So
it was good. Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, man. You're incredibly talented, and listen, I know Q's like is a modest guy, but he sent me like a reel one time of like stuff that like he didn't work on all of it that was in that reel, but like there was stuff in there that he had worked on. Not a single shot in that reel that he sent me was weak. Like everything was like top notch, like movie quality or like incredibly like something like a top-notch video game like cutscene kind of thing.
That's hundreds of people too. That's not just like, hey, this is my shit. That's like hundreds of people. So
well, I believe it for sure, but I was like seeing any of it, knowing that you were involved in any of those shots, whatever ones you were, whatever percentage like of what role you played in those shots. There's a lot of work that goes into it, and that's why I've talked about it here on my channel on a million occasions. Like CG for me is never a bad thing in movies. Some people like to dog on movies, like if something be done practically and it looks great, or you have something like 1917, like you mentioned, that kind of stuff's great. But there's also that element sometimes for me, like where if CG just fits the tone of the film, it can amplify things. It can bring something cool and different and vibrant to a movie. And then of course sometimes it's not great, but you can usually kind of just have fun with certain elements like that. And I guess I always try to think about stuff like what Q was talking about, that there's so many people who work on it that sometimes depending on how big a movie is, that it can be rather disappointing to have pretty weak CG. So thankfully for this movie, that is not an issue, because everything with Godzilla versus Kong, if you guys have not already gotten that from our conversation, is top notch. They look amazing. They sound amazing. The sound design is also another crazy thing. The roars, the sounds, everything about like just the punches and the way the film was edited as far as the action. So many amazing moments that we've talked about. I honestly don't have an abundance more to say on the movie other than that. I think it's great as far as the monster battles go. The human element of the story and all that is just it's just overly complex. I think that if they just simplified it and really left it to just, I don't know what part of this movie they could have dumbed down per se, but if you just cut out nonsense like Millie Bobby Brown and the trio that really served no purpose, and hone in on a more just straightforward narrative that just keeps the humans involved but doesn't have them doing so much pointless shit, I think that you can make for a far better movie. But I thought it was really, really good overall. Anybody want to give some general final thoughts?
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, exactly like you said. Sometimes a movie could try to be more smarter than it thinks it is. You know what I'm saying? Almost like that guy that gets out of prison that reads like 1,000 books and uses a bunch of big words but don't know what the fuck he's talking about. You know, like, yeah, man. So to eradicate my fornication on what is reciprocated, see, therefore, like, no, you're using big words, but you don't know how to use them. Okay, so like with this, man, know what you are, know exactly who your audience is, and do that. Don't try to be more smarter than you think you are, man, because you kind of embarrass yourself. Because if it wasn't for the fights, this movie would be trash. Because they tried too hard to give us something like, I don't know, was they trying to get us to think or get deep? I don't know, but don't do that again.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't wait for the people to get off the screen. To be honest with you, I didn't know what I knew what they were trying to say, where they talk about I'm not stupid, but I'm like, hey man, let's get back to the monster. I think the driving force for me, the only thing I latched onto was Kong. I was like, okay, I'm riding with Kong, and I think it was kind of even like good for him, like to lose that fight, because we followed him the whole way. It was like Rocky, you know what I'm saying? So he lost that fight, you know what I'm saying? He might win, you know what I'm saying, the next one, who knows though, but we followed him this whole way, you know what I'm saying? And from him to lose his fight, we felt that fight. I felt really bad when he got, beat by, Godzilla, a little bit inside me was smiling, because like, yeah, I told this motherfucker.
I was about to say, man, make up your mind. Did you feel bad or was you happy? Because first you talk about, man, God, now you say you felt bad for him. Make up your mind, bro.
I did feel bad for him, dog. I'm like, don't do it to him, Godzilla. But like, but it is Godzilla, though. Like, the Godzilla don't fuck around, son. He's king of monsters. But I followed his story. That's what I'm saying. I really felt for his story. You know what I'm saying? Even though this little bit of story, I felt sympathetic when they threw him in the cold. Like, oh, they got this nigga in the cold and shit, and snow. He was like, oh shit. You know what I'm saying? I just felt his story arc more than any human character in the film. If Billy Brown could have got crushed by Kong, I wouldn't give two shits. Just like that girl. I love this movie overall. It knows what it was. Like you said, I think they could even cut more of the humans out. They could have cut it more out and just kept their action scenes. And like Billy Brown and Paperboy could have been cut completely out of the movie. Just give us one people bringing Kong to the wherever to fight, and then who else cares, But overall, I still give this movie a 4 out of 5. When like I said, when those Titans were on screen, it was fucking magical, bro. It was like the fuck, I seen Kong do some fucking Smash Brothers shit on the building on the big screen, and they had the camera from the behind him like do 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 do. Boom! I was like, shit, jumping off John Godzilla. It was fucking amazing. That shit was spectacular. To see those fights, whatever about the human. That's why it loses a point, because it only loses a point from the human aspect. The actors, not they did bad, but they were just, it loses a point from there. But the sound design, some of the music was good. I'm glad it didn't have that stupid hip hop music that it had in the trailer. None of that shit was in it. It was solid. Yeah. It kind of knew what it was. So like, I overall enjoyed it, and I'll definitely watch another movie from the MonsterVerse wherever they go from here.
For sure. I totally agree. What about you, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, just to amplify what the guys have said already. Yeah, I mean, the film was awesome. If I was to revisit it, I would probably do what Rashad did and just skip the human element and get just straight to the monster fights. It would save me about an hour of the movie, to be fair. I just think like it knew exactly kind of what I want to do. I will say as well, the color palette in this as well was phenomenal. Whether it's from the plasma blasts or again the buildings being destroyed, whatever it was. Overall, really enjoyed the movie, and I'm just really glad that it's done well. And as Q said, I don't really have a big clue of what kind of goes into making CG or how many people it takes to actually make something like this happen. So I definitely think like after seeing this as well, it definitely deserves like more respect and more of a shout out as such as well.
Yeah, for sure. No, the CG artists are the ones to be praised 100%. They made this movie what it is. I mean, of course, you have the director and the sound designers and everybody. There's just so many people that go into making a movie, But without the CG being as believable as it was, there's just no way that this movie shines the way it does. And that's definitely not been an issue. We already talked about it, but it's definitely not been an issue for this series. The CG has been top notch in pretty much each of these installments. So, yeah, guys,
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So a lot of people have been tripping about Mechagodzilla's design, how he looked. There was a lot of people didn't like it, but I personally didn't have a problem with it. I thought, he wasn't like massive, but he was a lot bigger. So when you see them shooting the fire at each other, he was a lot bigger than Godzilla, but he wasn't like a massive, like intimidating looking thing. But I didn't have a problem with him. I mean, what y'all think?
I like him. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
Oh, sorry, man. Yeah, I would say I liked him as well, just like you guys. And the fact is, he was kind of built by the humans, or at least that tycoon kind of character. But it doesn't really matter as such what they look like, as long as they have like a menace and premise when on the screen. And he did. I mean, he pretty much beat Godzilla.
Yeah, beat the shit out of him.
That's what matters.
See, I like the design. I thought he looked cool. He looked like Mechagodzilla. But yeah, I honestly, I can't lie. When I saw him like in full form, I thought to myself, okay, like this is cool, no doubt. Mechagodzilla looks great. Like all this is like in no way, shape, or form is this a negative on Mechagodzilla at all. But I think compared to like maybe like the classic design, maybe people just expected a little bit more of that. I know maybe I did a little bit too, and I actually just did a supercut video. What was that you said? Yeah, I was exactly about to say that. Exactly, because I was gonna say like I just did a supercut video that just came out like a day or two ago, and in that video I used a clip of Mechagodzilla from Ready Player One, and in Ready Player One his design's a little looks more like a modernized version of that classic look and feel and vibe. I prefer the way he looks. I think he looks more realistic in this movie, but I like the design of the Mechagodzilla in Ready Player One more than in this one. I guess what else do you guys think about Mechagodzilla?
I think it was kind of scary in this one. I don't know what it was. It was just like a menacing presence of him. Like it looked like he was made by like a big ass T-800 or something, like from Terminator.
Like Cyberdyne systems.
Yeah, dude. Like it seemed like a huge Cyberdyne system that just you couldn't break this mug. You couldn't you couldn't really break it. You know what I'm saying? It was way too strong and powerful. I liked it, but I do love the cool aesthetic of the old school. Ready Player One as well too. But this one scared me a little bit more. He was a little bit more. I don't know, man. Like I wouldn't. If it wasn't King Kong and Godzilla and humans had to fight this shit, might be a wrap for us.
Oh yeah. Well, listen. If it wasn't for that axe, and Godzilla, I like the little tag team they had where Godzilla had to charge the axe up so Kong could finish him off. Yeah. But like I said earlier, so I don't know about y'all, but I was thinking this, even though they can't talk to each other. But what I got out of it was, okay, I beat your ass and killed you just about. This motherfucker comes and beats my ass. So technically, he's the king of the monsters now because the king just got defeated. This guy who I just beat defeated the guy that beat me. Took his head and everything, raised it up in the air like, I'm that motherfucker now. So Godzilla's looking at him like, wait a minute. You just saved my ass, but being that you did that makes you the king. So we got to do this again. But because you saved my ass, we're going to save it for another day, bro. Another day. And that's why he walked off the way he did.
Yeah, all right, then.
Pretty much. Yeah, I definitely got that vibe too. Yeah, I definitely got that vibe too, for sure. Like it definitely seems like it's kind of like, all right, we're good now, but this is definitely not the end of it. At all.
Like I'm gonna tuck my chain in.
Right. Because
technically, Godzilla leave, I'll be talking again.
Yeah, because technically Kong got the crown if you think about it.
Yeah, technically he do. Yeah, I watched that. I watched Double Toasted too. They were talking about he technically got the crown because he beat Mechagodzilla because Godzilla was getting the shit beat out of him.
Mm-hmm. So they're gonna run it back again, and this time Kong better be ready. He better get some fucking metal gloves or some shit or something to give him because 1-on-1 he can't beat Godzilla. We all know this. Yeah. Get the axe and get a shield or something. Get a fucking Planet Hulk style. Yeah.
That's why I can't help but think that they're gonna do some sort of more team ups in the future where like Kong will maybe have other monsters on his side and vice versa. Because like the idea if they do this again, right? Like if they just do Godzilla versus Kong 2 with these same monsters, Godzilla is only getting more and more powerful pretty much with every installment. Kong, he can get bigger, he can get stronger, but he's always, at the end of the day, like, again, he got his ass whooped and could have died on many occasions. Literally, one of them was Godzilla saying, "I'm going to spare your ass," again with that bitch, just like kind of vibe, and just like stay down kind of thing. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like moving forward, they'll have to do something to really kind of up the ante for Kong. Like, this movie was great. It makes sense, especially with the first time that this version of these characters are meeting. But yeah, I think that moving forward, they're definitely gonna have to do something to kind of make Kong able to kind of keep up with somebody like Godzilla, or he's just gonna can't take him to the water again and have that fight again, because he's just gonna drag his ass down unless somebody gets involved and stops him from drowning him. You know what I mean? And same with later on, like if he just gets his ass whooped again in a future film, Godzilla steps on his chest again, it'll just be dumb if Godzilla doesn't kill him then and tries to do the same thing again, you know. But
they got to even the playing field a little bit.
Exactly. But hey, man, this has been a lot of fun. I'm looking at the time. I do have to go to bed soon because I got to wake up for work tomorrow. But this has been tons of fun. Love having you guys on anytime and being able to talk about Godzilla versus Kong and just be able to ramble my thoughts, because I've talked to a couple people, but I haven't really had the chance to just genuinely just ramble about it. So this was tons of fun hearing your guys' thoughts on it and all that jazz. So just go ahead one by one and go ahead and just let me know what you guys are working on. Let everybody know what you're working on, where they can find you. The links to their channel, by the way, I should just go ahead and say that right now, are all down below in the description box. So if you guys are interested in checking out Mike Q Reviews, Rashad G, the links are down below. Go give them some love. They got tons of great content on their channels. But Q, we'll start with you, man. Anything you got coming out, anything you're working on for people to look forward to? And again, thank you for being a part of this.
Oh yeah, no problem, man. Thank you so much for having me, man. I was trying to set one up live this weekend. I just shit got crazy again. was trying to do it, so I'm glad you hosted the spoiler review, because I really wanted to talk about this film. I'm actually working on just a review for this myself, since I didn't have time to work on it, and I'm actually still working on the Creep Show skit that I'm doing. Thanks for the ride, lady. And after that,
I'm looking forward to that one, bro. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That one should be fun. That one should be real bloody. Like that. Good. Yeah, and other than that, man, we'll see what's popping, man. Someone's I got a couple ideas brewing, but you guys want to check out Q Reviews? There's a link below in the description. Check me out. We're always doing some fun skits and things like that, talking movies. Rashad G Reviews, Anthony Perez, got Mike here. So thanks for having me once again, man. See you soon.
Absolutely, man. I really genuinely appreciate it. Rashad, what about you, man? What do you got coming out? What do you got working on? What can people expect from Rashad G Reviews?
Well, Mike just sent me his review for Rocky 5, so that should be dropping either tomorrow or the day after. And then, of course, our Tit for Tat series. I'm watching the Lego Movie, and you got Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin, which surprisingly you've never even heard of. That bugged me out.
I never heard about it.
Never heard of it. Yeah, so you never heard of that one either?
I've heard of it, but just never seen it.
Oh shit! Probably need to get you on that review too, man. Y'all tripping. So I got those coming, and then I'm working on a dinner and a movie video. I haven't done one of those in a while.
Yeah.
So yeah, my next dinner and a movie video, I'm doing a Firehouse New York steamer replica in Beach Street.
Nice.
That's what I got coming up. Yeah,
those are my favorites, bro. Like there's something like so casual about the way you do those, and then obviously you're cooking. So I'm always hungry when I'm watching those videos, bro. Like I've made it a point now that I gotta be snacking at least when I watch those videos. I usually watch your guys' videos on my TV, and I have to be snacking, especially if I'm watching your dinner and the movie, man. But yeah, man, thank you so much for being in this video, bro. I genuinely appreciate it. Same to you, Q, and Mike. Go ahead and give us your list of things that got coming out.
Yeah, well, firstly, man, thanks so much for having me once again on a live stream. I must be around 5 a.m. nearly here in the UK. But yeah, I guess in terms of stuff coming out, maybe I've been speaking about doing a class of 1984 review.
That's right. Yeah.
Never seen that movie, so that'll be an interesting one. And yeah, kind of got a couple of like Back to the Future projects I've got to do. So I'm finishing the Expedition series that's on Discovery Plus at the moment. And I've got a series called Back to the Fans, where I just speak to fellow Back to the fans, Back to the Future, and they just show their collections off. We talk about the movies. So a couple of those in the pipework as well. But yeah, man, thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely, man. I love all three of you guys as far as your content and everything that you guys are doing, and you guys are constantly, just being a part of the community and being able to make videos with all three of you guys has been a lot of fun, and watching your content grow. So yeah, I'm really excited moving forward to see all that stuff that you guys are talking about and continue to collab. Again, for anybody who's watching, if you guys are interested, the links for their channels are down below in the description box. Please go check out their channels. There's tons of great stuff there. As far as for me here on the channel, I just dropped the review with Rashad for Finding Nemo. And right before that, I just dropped a supercut video, an 8-minute supercut. If you guys haven't seen it,
Amazing.
Really proud of how it turned out. I think you guys should check it out. It's a lot of fun to watch. At least I had a lot of fun watching it after making it. And definitely want to get more views on that one. So I do highly recommend it. And if you like it, share it with somebody. But as far as moving forward, the next review I'll be dropping is George of the Jungle with the Big Rob theory. Then the Luck of the Irish with Mike here, the Z review. And Rashad mentioned that he'll be on my channel for Lego Movie. And then this week I'm hoping to catch up on things like Life for Rashad, as well as Death Note 2, the Japanese Death Note 2 for Mike, the Z review. And just tons more coming out very soon. I'm trying to catch up on all these collabs so I can start reaching out to some others again. Tomorrow, like I mentioned, same time, 9:30, we'll be going live. 9:30 Eastern time, we'll be going live with Willie Lasante, Blacktastic Media, the Big Rob Theory, and Cinematic Tendency for WandaVision spoiler discussion. And I'm going to be trying to get a little bit better about doing these for the big movies, so you guys can expect one for Mortal Kombat, as well as things like Falcon and the Winter Soldier when that wraps up. And I'm sure that these three faces will appear at some point on one of those at some point. So a big thanks to all of you guys for joining. A big thanks to everybody who watched, whether you watched live or after the fact. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Anybody got any final words?
I'm good.
All right, cool. Have a great night, guys. And thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.